Hey there everyone, and how are you all doing today? My name is Joe Mari, and welcome to another video here on Mobile Cup of Joe. So in this video here today, I'm going to be running through my favorite things from the keynote at Google I/O 2014 Developers Conference. I'm not going to be running through every single little thing that was announced because that could take us all day to talk about. But on this video, I will be running through what got me excited the most and what really stood out to me at the keynote. So before we go any further, please go ahead and grab that coffee cup, fill it up, bring it over, and sit on down. Take a swig from your mobile cup of Joe. So the first thing I want to talk about is actually the first thing that they really talked up during the keynote, and that is AndroidOne. So we really didn't hear anything about this. This was one of the big surprises at the keynote, and there were surprisingly a few of these. So what AndroidOne is essentially Google's program to bring very good quality Android smartphones to developing countries. So Sundar Pichai, the head of Chrome and Android and all that, he talked about how his family in India and the smartphone situation there, and how they really don't have these high-end smartphones like we have in the US. Well, he then announced AndroidOne, and AndroidOne, like I said, is a program to bring, well, good functioning Android smartphones to these developing countries. AndroidOne, this Micromax developed one that they talked about mostly, it's going to have a 4.5-inch display, have dual SIM capabilities, an FM radio, and it's going to cost under $100. So we've been seeing a lot of budget smartphones this past year with the Moto G, there's the OnePlus One, and a few other smartphones that are really nice and high-end devices, but they don't cost a whole lot. So we're not expecting this AndroidOne program, the devices in it, to have top-of-the-line specifications, but it is still very cool to see these developing countries that don't have a lot of money in their economy still have good smartphone options to buy that are still good smartphones, but they don't cost a whole lot. No word if we're going to see these phones in the US. My guess is that we will not. They're going to be focused on India, in Nigeria, and these other countries where smartphones and the economy is not so great, and they're going to have smartphones for them to enter into that market so they can really have the opportunity to use them and still afford them. So AndroidOne, again, one of the bigger surprises we had at the keynote, one of the things that I'm really excited and looking forward to. So the next big thing that was announced during this keynote at Google I/O 2014, which I was really looking forward to the most, is AndroidL. Now AndroidL is the next big iteration in the Android platform. Now we did not get an official number for it, so we don't know if it's 4.5 or 5.0, and we didn't get a dessert name for it either, so we don't know if it's Licorice, Laffy Taffy, Lollipop, we don't know yet. It's just codename AndroidL. Now this will probably change as time goes on, but it is still in developer preview, still not even alpha stage yet, so there's still some time to go. But AndroidL looks really interesting. So the big focus of AndroidL was what Google is calling material design. So material design is actually really interesting. It has a big focus on bright, beautiful colors, smooth and fluid, beautiful 3D animations and transition effects, and it actually looks really good. All these effects and bright colors can be found through the phone's UI, through applications like the dialer and the calculator, and all in Google's applications. If you go into the Google Plus application actually that has been updated, you can kind of see the material design in action. You've got the solid red at the top of the application. You can swipe over and have the drop-down menus for your communities and all that. And when you're scrolling through at the bottom right-hand corner of that application now, you have the option to start a new post and write a new post. And they actually showed this on the updated Gmail application with the new material design intact. And it looks really great. Now when I first heard about this and first saw some screenshots, I wasn't really sure about it, but after watching the full keynote day after the press conference, it looks really, really nice. The transition effects and the animation effects are downright gorgeous. If these run as good in use as they did during the keynote, I am sold with this new design language. Now AndroidL isn't all just about new looks and new design. There's actually some functionalities thrown in there which looks really good. The first of those is with notifications. So notifications with AndroidL are now natively supported on the lock screen, and again follow that same material design language. What's really cool about notifications though is that we now have heads-up notifications. So for the example, at the keynote during Google I/O, they had a guy playing the game on his Android on the Nexus 5, and he got a notification that popped up, and he just swiped it away. The notification came down from the top of the screen, and he had an option to accept it, decline it, and he just swiped it away without having to leave the application at all, and that's something we've been wanting in Android for many, many years, and we'll finally have it in AndroidL. Now another cool thing is with the Recents tab, or the Recents button. So you go on your Android device, you go to the bottom right hand corner, click that Recents button, and you get that long list of vertical applications, which, functions okay, but it's really not the most useful for multitasking or getting to your content quickly. Well, the updated Recents tab in Google Now, AndroidL, it has this beautiful card stack 3D animation that you can scroll through, but the really cool feature that really sticks out to me is that it has all of your Recents tabs from Google Chrome. So any recent websites you visited in Chrome are listed there when you press that Recents button. So you've got your tabs from Chrome, your applications you visited recently, all there in this beautiful, beautiful 3D animation card stack effect, and it looks really, really nice. Now another cool thing is that AndroidL will run exclusively on the Art runtime. Now this is coming over from Dalvik, which we've been running on Android for quite some time. We had heard that Art would be available in KitKat, but you can add it manually, but it really wasn't working. But we now have Art on AndroidL, and AndroidL will run exclusively on Art. Now Art is said to bring a 2 times performance increase overall to the Android operating system, and it will even have 64-bit capabilities. And this looks really great. This is going to improve the speed of our phones, it's going to improve the CPU. Google also talked about some ways they're improving the GPUs to bring PC-like graphics to Android handsets, and from the video they showed during the keynote, it looked really beautiful. They also have a battery saver called Project Volta, brought to you by the same team that did Project Butter, which has the ability to clock down the CPU, clock down the refresh rate, and turn off background data. So it's really nice we're seeing a focus more on battery life, which is something we really need in smartphones today. So AndroidL looks really great. There's a lot of stuff going on. There's a lot of stuff that's still in there that I haven't talked about, that Google didn't really touch on a whole lot in the keynote, but this is a big update. There is currently a developer's preview out. This is not an alpha, this is not a beta, this is a developer's preview, so not everything is in there, not all the features are in there. They're expected to be very buggy, but you can currently download it and sideload it onto your Nexus 5 and your Nexus 7 2013 edition on the Wi-Fi only model. So AndroidL looks really great. Definitely look at some videos, there's some pictures for it, because it's a very interesting update to the Android platform, and personally I can't wait to get my hands on it. Now another big thing during this keynote was Android Wear, and this is really where Google is putting most of their focus on, or where they did put most of their focus on during this keynote. So Android Wear was announced a few months ago, where we saw the Moto 360 and the LG G Watch. We didn't get a really big announcement, it was just one day online and poof, Android Wear was online, it was official. Well, we finally saw some hands-on footage of Android Wear. Everybody on stage from Google had either a Moto 360, LG G Watch, or a Samsung Gear Live, which we'll get into a little bit later in this part of the video, on their wrist. Now, Google talked about some really cool things about Android Wear that we hadn't heard about before. One of the things that I was really looking forward to hearing is that these are always on displays. So the Moto 360, the LG G Watch, and the Samsung Gear Live are always on displays. And if you raise your wrist like this, that the watch is on, or you touch the display, the brightness will increase. Now the LG G Watch, which is the highest end watch that is currently available for purchase, has, I believe, a battery life of up to 36 hours of use, and that's with the screen always on. And honestly, that's not that bad. If I can get through a full day of use with an Android Wear smartwatch, I'm fine with that. My Pebble right here gets me through about 3 to 5 days of use, sometimes 7 if I'm lucky, but usually about 5. And that's awesome, but to have that full functionality of Android Wear, I am perfectly fine with a day of full use. They also said that these watches are all water resistant, which is another big plus, especially for that beautiful Moto 360. What's really cool though, is that Google talked about how if you install an application on your smartphone, if there is a Android Wear version available, it'll automatically be added to your Android Wear smartwatch. And what's even more awesome is that if you swipe a notification away or a Google Now card away on your watch, it'll dismiss as well on your smartphone. And I know that's an issue I have sometimes on my Pebble Steel right here with my Moto X. It's on my lap right now. Sometimes if I clear a notification on my watch, it'll still be present on my phone. But not on Android Wear. Say I get a text message or something, if I swipe that text message away on my smartwatch running Android Wear, it'll be swiped away on my phone as well. Notifications on Android Wear, the cards will be displayed from Google Now, from apps on your phone, and from apps directly on Android Wear itself. Now, Android Wear is available for purchase today. There's the LG G Watch, which begins selling for $229, and the Samsung Gear Live, which begins selling for $199. So the G Watch is the highest end one available right now. Those two are both available to purchase through the Google Play Store right now. The Moto 360, unfortunately, will not be available for purchase until later this summer. And Google, it was kind of funny, they talked about the LG G Watch and the Gear Live are now available to purchase today on the Google Play Store. And then he said that the Moto 360 would be available for purchase later this summer, and there was a very audible groan throughout the entire audience, and it's kind of funny, but it's kind of cool to see how many people are really excited for the Moto 360. I'm one of them, and it's very cool because if you got the lucky chance to attend Google I/O 2014, you got the choice between a free LG G Watch or Samsung Gear Live and a Moto 360 when it comes out. So you can really tell that Google is putting a strong focus with the developers for Android Wear. Personally, I can't wait. Again, I love my Pebble right here, but I have Google Now, all that functionality of Android phone on my wrist. I cannot wait. I'm going to be buying one. Not sure if I'm going to wait for the Moto. I'm going to wait for the Moto 360. Who am I kidding? That's going to be beautiful. But again, the G Watch and the Gear Live look like very reputable smartwatches as well. So Android Wear, lots of cool stuff. Some of the stuff we'd already seen, but a lot of things that we hadn't heard yet before. So I'm very excited. What about you? Let me know if you're excited for Android Wear and what Android Wear smartwatch in particular. Another thing that Google talked about at their conference was Android TV. Now, we had seen some leaks and screenshots of Android TV a couple months ago, courtesy of The Verge, but we got our first official look at the platform today. So Android TV will be available to us in a couple different ways. It will be baked into TVs by Sharp and Sony. Sony's, I believe, will start shipping for their 4K Ultra HD TVs later this year, and we'll see some implemented into Sharp TVs in 2015, early 2015. We also have them in set-top boxes by ASUS and Razer. Now, Android TV is not a brand new operating system that developers are going to have to remake applications for. It is simply a version of Android, hence the name Android TV. Now, what's really cool is that unlike something such as the Amazon Fire TV or the Roku platform, Android TV takes advantage of allowing you to connect a satellite or cable provider such as Dish Network, DirecTV, Comcast Xfinity to get your live TV with Android TV, which is really nice. We don't see a lot of things, again, like Roku doesn't do this, or at least not with their set-top boxes. Or Roku TV you can do this, but not with their set-top boxes. Or Chromecast can't do this, Amazon's Fire TV can't do this, but you do have this access with Android TV. Now on top of that, you also have full voice input, so you can say something like or the example they did on the keynote was who plays Katniss in the Hunger Games, and it says Jennifer Lawrence plays Katniss in the Hunger Games, and you can see what other movies she's been in. Or you can search for movies based on the actors, Academy Awards they've won and for what year, but it's really cool to have that full voice support there. You also have access to Google Play Music, all the Google Play services, movies and TVs, all that. Netflix, which is really nice, but the thing that I'm kind of hesitant about is that there's no Amazon Instant Video support, which of course we knew there wasn't going to be because Amazon would no way in hell release the application available for Android TV for their video streaming service when that's such a big feature of Fire TV. So that's something that is kind of making me think I'm not going to get a set-top box for Android TV because I'm a Prime subscriber. I love a lot of Amazon's Instant Video. I love the free stuff on Amazon Prime. So that's kind of something that makes me not so sure about. Now, of course, again, this is no big shocker. We knew this wouldn't be happening. But just for me personally, I'm not sure if this is something I would get. Now, what's really cool is that there's another big strong focus on games here in Android TV, just like there is with the Amazon Fire TV. Of course, though, in the Android TV, you have the full support for Google Play games. So you have leaderboards, you can play multiplayer games. One of the cool things they showed off during the keynote is that they had two of their Google employees playing NBA Jam, one person playing with a controller on the Android TV, another person using a Samsung tablet, and they were kind of playing a local multiplayer, which that kind of stuff is very cool. I love that idea. So Android TV, I would like to hear a bit more about it. At first they said that you can use a remote. They said Android TV just needs a 4-way directional pad and voice input to work, so you can either use a remote, a game controller, or just use a virtual remote on your smartphone or tablet. So Android TV, it looks really interesting. I'm intrigued. I would just like to know a bit more about it before I throw my money down. So the final big thing I'm going to be talking about that was a big highlight for me at the keynote for Google's I/O Developers Conference for 2014 was actually something I wasn't expecting to hear a lot about. And that's with Chromecast of all things. I mean, also forget about wearables and AndroidL. Chromecast stole the freaking show for me, or the freaking keynote for me this year. And I'm gonna tell you why. You no longer need Wi-Fi to cast something to your TV. So you know, before Google Chromecast, you can cast music, YouTube videos, and whatnot to a TV, but you have to be on the same Wi-Fi network. No longer in this update, update to the Chromecast, I can go over to my friend's house, he has a Chromecast, I can shoot a YouTube video to his TV without having to be on his Wi-Fi network. So he doesn't have to look for his long, crazy password. I can have someone come to my house, I don't have to look up my long, crazy password for my Wi-Fi network. Anyone can cast something to your TV just on a mobile network. Now, of course, this is an opt-in feature, so you can allow if you want this to happen or not. But this is awesome. This is like magic. The guy that talked about it said it has to do with the cloud or something. I don't care. This is magical stuff right here. I know it doesn't seem like that big of a feature, but just think about it. If I go and take my Chromecast to people's houses a lot, and then I gotta look up their Wi-Fi password, plug it into my phone, and that is a long, long process. No longer though. I can plug my Chromecast into someone's TV, I can set something up to the Chromecast, don't have to worry about the Wi-Fi, and it's just awesome. Another cool thing is a backdrop. So you know, if your Chromecast are not casting anything, you have these beautiful images that cycle through, and they're very pretty, and Google's been updating it as time has gone on. Well, with backdrop, you can now select what you want displayed on there. So you can get artwork, you can get the weather, you can get news, lifestyle, all the landscape images, geography images, kind of top down like it is in Google Maps, satellite view, all this cool stuff. What's really sweet though is that you can add your own photos from Google Plus or something, and this is very sweet. So for me, for example, I just bought a brand new Canon EOS Rebel T3i DSLR, which I'm actually recording with right now, but I can now go ahead and take pictures with this, and I can sync them to my Google Plus account, put them on Google, and they will now be the screensavers on the backdrop for my Chromecast. Backdrop will be available later this summer, and it's very cool. Another huge thing though for the Chromecast is that it will now have support to cast the entire screen of your Android device. You can take the entire home screen and cast it. So a cool example they talked about was that you can cast Google Earth now, so you get that beautiful 3D imagery from Google Earth on the big screen of your TV. And this is very, very awesome. You can imagine you can play games on here, albeit you still have to use the touch controls on your phone, but you can play full games on your TV. And this might actually make me use my Fire TV less. I mean, the controller is still really great, but being able to cast my entire screen on my phone or tablet to the TV is just amazing. Now, normally you'd have to buy a Miracast dongle to put on the back of your TV if your TV did not natively support Miracast, but having it built into my $35 Chromecast is amazing. My Chromecast is now sitting on a shelf over there in my room because I have the Roku 3 and the Amazon Fire TV currently hooked up to my TV downstairs because there's only 2 HDMI ports, frowny face. But this new update to the Chromecast is going to make me take that thing out from that closet, plug it in, and start using the heck out of this thing again. I'm so excited for the features being brought to Chromecast. No need for Wi-Fi to cast stuff. Backdrop and the ability to cast your screen is awesome. I'm so excited for Chromecast. You know, AndroidL, Android Wear, Android TV is all exciting stuff, but Chromecast, I cannot wait for these new features. So guys, there you go. Those are my top features from the Google I/O 2014 Developers Conference keynote. What are your favorite things? Let me know down in those comments below what your highlights were. Again, Chromecast stole the show for me. I'm so excited. Let me know what you're most excited for. Are you excited for Android TV? There's a few things I didn't talk about. I didn't talk about Android Auto, or the stuff they're doing with the Chromebooks, or all those long developery stuff they talked about towards the end of it. So there's still some stuff I didn't talk about. I didn't talk about Google Play Fitness, some things they're doing with Google Play Games. So there's some stuff I didn't cover. This is just what stuck out to me personally the most. So I'd love to know what you guys think really stuck out to you down in that comment box below. And that's all the time we have for this video today. Make sure you follow the channel on Twitter where it is @MobileCupOfJoe, and follow me personally as well where I am @JoeMarin1. Thank you guys so much for watching. Have a wonderful day, and I'll see you all in the next video. Bye-bye.